Life as a football manager has its ups and downs, but like most of you, at the end of a bad day, I can go home to the support of my family and friends. We're the lucky ones, and sometimes when you're one of the lucky ones, it's easy not to think about how things can get. But things can get very hard. If you're old and frail and worried about having to go into care, if you have a child with special needs and you get no time for a break, if you're a teenager facing the responsibility of parenthood, if you're an adult with learning disabilities and you just want someone to give you the chance to show that you do have something to offer, if you're a child who has lost all trust in adults because all the adults in your life so far have abused your trust. Difficult stuff to think about. A lot more difficult if you're the one going through it. Making a difference for these people isn't easy either, but St. Cuthbert's Care is out there making that difference. It makes you think, doesn't it?
St. Cuthbert's Care has over 50 years' experience of working with children and adults who need long-term support or who are facing crisis. We can provide care and support when others look away. For parents coping full-time with a child with special needs, the strain can be enormous. Very often they find it hard to get a break or spend time with their other children. Just think of that. No time for any of your other children. Imagine, if you can, how you or your children would cope. St. Cuthbert's Care provides a range of services offering residential short breaks, at-home support sessions, and specialised fostering for children and young people with disabilities. Our Special Friends service is flexible to meet the individual needs of each child and now offers the opportunity for all of the families to meet together socially on a weekly basis at the Wacky Warehouse.
Well, I've got 3 children. 2 of them are severely autistic. We find it really difficult at home just to get by from week to week. So we got in touch with social services who said they would try and get some support in, and St. Cuthbert's Care came up. It's been excellent. The whole thing's really kept the family together, and it's meant James and Andrew haven't had to go into residential care. But their behaviours are very, very complex. They self-injure, one of them isn't toileted, I have to help feed them, dress them. Not because they've got a physical disability, solely because the autism, they just have way-out behaviour at times. And it's very difficult for my daughter because she's 13, so she's not really had a normal environment to live in at home. It's been a lifeline for her, really, that we can do something without James and Andrew being there. It's one of the best services that I've come across.
Michelle's just gone 14 years old. She's Down syndrome, and she very slow learner. We're Special Friends. They've got time, patience, and the child's needs in their thoughts, and that's what's uppermost in our thoughts, the child's needs. So when we have Michelle out with Rosemary, we're relaxed because we know Rosemary knows what Michelle wants and cares for Michelle at the same time. But I don't know where they get these people from, but they're one in a million. They seem to have time and be very careful that nothing goes wrong, and it's so wonderful to see the child's face light up. They're just children, and them children enjoy each other's company. Doesn't matter whether they've got one arm, one leg or whatever, they're just a child and they want to play, and they all play. There's nobody sort of turns around and says, oh, you're different, you're not playing with us. They get on with it. There's not a disability thing about the place.
It takes a lot of pressure off the parent.
Yeah, it does work very well though, doesn't it?
It does.
And it's one of the best things that ever happened to us, isn't it?
It is.
St. Cuthbert's Care no longer places children with adoptive parents, but now focuses upon finding homes for children with special needs. Our fostering programme finds short and longer term foster care placements for children with disabilities and hard-to-place older children. Our social workers carefully screen and prepare our prospective foster carers for the demands of the role and, importantly, are on call 24 hours a day to give advice and support. We believe that children and young people are best cared for at home by their families. Unfortunately for some, this is just not possible, and residential care is the only option. Many of these children and young people have suffered family breakdown or neglect. Sexual abuse is also common. As a result, their behaviour can be challenging and disruptive. St Cuthbert's Care runs 2 homes where our dedicated staff work with each child individually to help them come to terms with their past and the circumstances that have brought them into residential care. We provide children and young people with the stability they need while helping them to prepare for their future.
We were well looked after, and the staff they didn't act like staff, they acted more like family, and it was like a very personal thing as well. We're still good friends. I'm still good friends with a lot of them now, even like 12 years after I've left.
Being on TV has its responsibilities, although you won't find me complaining. One of the responsibilities I don't have, though, is one of the biggest ones of all, being a parent. So I can't imagine how it must feel coming to terms with being a parent while you're a teenager. How do you deal with it? Well, St Cuthbert's Care is working with young parents to help them get the support they need to look after themselves and their children. Makes my job look easy.
We work with mothers like Angela to develop their independent living and parenting skills and help them find a permanent home. So, without Benting, where did Angela think she would be now?
Well, I'd be stuck. Definitely stuck. I would have been homeless and just been put like anywhere by the council, and I wouldn't have had Robert.
What people with disabilities want are the ordinary things most of us take for granted. Education, training, employment, sport, recreation, transport and relationships. At Parkhead, our resource centre for adults with learning disabilities, we listen to what people tell us they want out of life and help them to achieve it for themselves. We provide a wide range of activities from self-defence to literacy skills to woodwork. Our staff also help people to find work experience placements and to access further training if they wish. Parkhead staff work closely with the people who use the service and also with their families to ensure that the centre remains flexible and responsive to their needs. Times change, as do the challenges, and St Cuthbert's Care has to remain responsive to those changes. A major new development for St Cuthbert's Care is our recent decision, in partnership with the Catholic Diocese of Hexham and Newcastle, to build a new nursing and residential home better to meet the physical and spiritual needs of our older people. The new home will combine excellence of care with a superb range of facilities. It will also include a chapel, a dedicated chaplain, and a regular mass. The new nursing home represents the most significant investment ever undertaken by St Cuthbert's Care, one we feel is imperative to meet our commitment to protecting and promoting the respect and dignity of some of the most vulnerable people in our society. Our existing residents at St Catherine's in Sandiford are looking forward to moving into their new home towards the end of this year.
But I think they'll love it here. They'll go with us up there.
Urban education, or Urban Ed, as it's now popularly referred to by the youngsters, is a relatively new initiative set up by St Cuthbert's Care and is based in the East End of Newcastle. Young people are referred to the service for a variety of reasons. They may be new to the area, refugees or asylum seekers for example, and may be struggling both academically and socially. Or some may just be finding things a little too much at school and in danger of being excluded. So Urban Ed helps to reawaken their interest in learning. Although a relatively informal project initially, Urban Ed has developed significantly over the past year, following consultation with head teachers, the Education Welfare Service, and the young people and their parents. Urban Ed now offers a more formal style of alternative education, focusing upon structured lessons which are all planned and delivered to Ofsted standard, but in a less formal setting than a school environment. Vicky has been attending the centre for several months now and has written a poem all by herself about her time here at Urban Ed.
My name's Vicky. I come to Urban Ed because sometimes I take the mickey. I learn ICT and that's good help for me. I learned some English and maths and sometimes had some laughs. In ICT I made a song, and the song I made was very, very long. In citizenship I made some friends, we even worked together. And now we're getting proper clever. At Ebenet the staff are great, and I'm no longer late. At Ebenet the teacher said, get some sleep and rest your head. My name's Vicky, I try not to take the mickey. I like Alfie Moon and he's a star, like I'm gonna be soon.
I've just touched on the work we undertake at St Cuthbert's Care. There hasn't been time to mention our community development projects, our facilities for disadvantaged families, including this wonderful new playground bought mainly through the generosity of the schools of the diocese, our school social workers, now based in 50 schools across the region, our sensitive child protection work, our post-adoption counselling, our support line. Our aim is to work for the common good, by enabling people to achieve their personal potential. And although our services are many and diverse, they all have one thing in common. They are all reaching out to those who need someone to turn to. Whether it's for advice and reassurance, help through a tough time, long-term support, or lifelong care, we don't look away.